Stitch number 16 is a blind hem stitch on the Pfaff Quilt Ambition 2.0 sewing machine. Now there's actually a couple different blind hem stitches, so if you're looking, just find the one that works for you. There's a stretch blind hem and a couple other ones, but 16 is the one that we're actually going to work with. It does have us put foot number 3 on. Now this is the foot that I use quite a bit around here because number 1, we use it for overlock or overcasting type stitches. This little red marker is adjustable. So I've also moved it to be set up for a blind hem, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You can also use this for top stitching. So if you set that where you want and then move your needle to the left or to the right, you can have nice even stitching from a very small edge and make it look just so perfect because you have something to follow. I'm all about following something and to get the best result. Okay, so for a blind hem, so when you pick a stitch number 16 here, you'll find that the needle is actually going to be hanging out on the right side. Now, here is the trick. That right side first stitch it's going to take is not what we need to know for lining it up. So I'm going to show you my little trick. So first off, let's talk about a blind hem and how you fold your fabric. So your fabric's going to get folded up to the the new hem that you're putting in. Press that, nice. And then you're going to get it to fold back upon itself. So this fold here is what we're going to run the little red marker next to. Now when we do overcast stitching, I have you move that marker all the way over so it's even with that little pin that's in there. Well, on a blind hem, it feels like I always have to move it all the way to the far left. Now, depending on your fabric thickness, that marker may move left or right. So here's how I recommend you start. First off, take one stitch in your fabric, and you can do it by hand or if you even want to just tap your foot control. And let the needle jump over to the left side. Once it's hanging out on the left side, lower it down, and if you need to, lift your fabric and move the fabric so your needle will come down into the fold of the fabric. I have it just a little low. There we go. And then sink the needle into the fold. At that point, you can move the red marker to then line up even with the fold of your fabric. So we've aligned the stitch with the foot. And then as you stitch, all you need to do is guide the fold right along the little mark. And I love that it's red because it's really easy to keep your eye on. But the goal is just to get the stitch to take the smallest little bite into this fold. And I could barely hear it as it jumped over here to the left. I heard a little thickness or a little more sound because it was going through 3 layers there. So when I open it up, my goal is just to have very little of the stitch showing. The smaller the better. If you have a finer fabric, just think about using a thinner thread and a smaller needle. It makes a smaller hole. But with this, what we're seeing is that they're nice and consistent and just barely catching. Now, of course, if I had matching thread, you wouldn't see it at all. But that's how easy it is to adjust the blind hem foot, the stitch, to the fabric you're actually using.